Real thoughts, real trades, real journey. A video journal documenting the lessons learned on my journey to becoming a disciplined trader. Welcome to Trading the Journey. I'm Neil, and today I want to share a trading day that taught me one important lesson. Let's see what the market had to teach me. Well, what can I say? Today, in my opinion, did not turn out so great. I kind of lost it at the end of the trade. I thought it was a good trade, and turned out it wasn't. I mean, I considered it an A+ setup. I had everything going for me, and it just went in the opposite direction. It turned over, and as you can tell, it turned out to be a red day overall. So let me kind of walk you through what my thought process was on this. So I had looked at the overall structure, and from my point of view, it was on an uptrend, right? It had started in an uptrend probably around realistically around 230. It had a slight uptrend overnight, more sideways than up, but around 230, I guess. It looks like it, around 230 it was on an uptrend. And so you can see it was up, down, up, down, up, down, and it eventually was going to exhaust itself. When? Who knows? But I ended up getting my answer around 9:45 this morning when it turned over, when this 3 inside down appeared and dropped. So I got in right here at 29,123.25, and my target was around 29,256.25. It touched my one times, and then it formed this bear candle that took out the high a day and dropped. It wasn't a great feeling. I thought it was going to turn over here. But it didn't. It turned here, and that was the end of it. And after the trade was over, I got real emotional about it. Not because the trade turned, but because in my mind I was expecting the price to go up, to keep going. And I didn't even really take into consideration the context, what it had been doing the entire night, which was this uptrend that you see. Eventually it was going to exhaust itself. I should have expected that. I should have waited for a reversal, something that would get me in on a reversal, and that was the end of it. It was a very strong power bar close. It cleared the pre-market high. There was a little lag whenever I did hit the buy button. I did hit it around 2 seconds before the candle closed, and there was a little lag, so the price was a couple of ticks later than what I wanted. I mean, looking back on it overall, it was still a great trade. I had a great stop under the candle that that I went in on. Got as good a price as I could get, and it just didn't work out. It didn't work out at all. The bears showed up to play and just swatted the bulls into Narnia. And as soon as I saw that valid 3 inside down, I knew that it was it. It was looking so good. It's just real annoying to see that kind of thing happen sometimes. It's real annoying. And after I had gotten emotional about it, I was thinking about getting in another play. But I ended up shutting it down because I didn't want that emotional point to come in. What I was looking at was actually a fence trade to the downside. If I had taken that, this is what it would have looked like pretty much. If I had gotten in on that, then coming back over here, yeah, sorry about that. There was the fence, came down. My stop probably would have been maybe, let me draw another thing here. Entry probably right here, and maybe my stop be around right here. Would have gotten a free trade out of that. It would have ended up being a free trade, depending on where I would have put my stop. If I put my stop maybe down here, then I'd have gotten 2 times on it. But I just felt like shutting it down. I wasn't in a real good place at that point, and then so I went and did some other things. Did some day job stuff, just to keep going. So just to get my mind off of it, and then I can come back later and look at the trade and see what happened. And now that I can see what happened, I should have really paid attention to that uptrend that was happening. And hopefully this was a lesson learned. Hopefully I'll be able to, tomorrow and the thousands of other trades that I'll take, I hopefully I can make sure I pay attention to what it's doing. But you never know if the market's going to continue grinding up. It could keep grinding up for several more days. It could grind down for several more days. The overall daily structure paints, a downward trend, which is another thing that I had looked at and failed to keep in the context. As you can see, it's following a similar pattern on a shorter timeline, like it did going into the beginning of the year. As you can see, from September all the way through April. This one's just on a shorter timeline doing the same thing. Eventually, it'll come down a little bit and then come back up. So that's another thing that I looked at and just ignored for whatever reason. So the lesson here is just, when you know what you're looking at, don't write it off. I didn't hesitate when I got into this trade. I didn't hesitate at all, because you never know what's going to happen. But don't pay attention, but don't ignore what's going on, because the market is telling you a story and you should pay attention. So thank you for joining me for today's lesson. The market is voted. Today's lesson is written. I hope something from today's trade helps you on your own journey towards becoming a more disciplined trader. If today's trade reminded you of something you've experienced yourself, please let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your perspective. If you enjoyed today's journal entry, I'd really appreciate it if you'd hit that like button on the video and subscribe to follow the journey. Until next time, real thoughts, real trades, real journey.